Oh, so now let's talk about appointments. I have experience with appointments too. So why do you want to have a public hearing on an appointment? Because you want to select the best candidate. You want to provide the opportunity for the citizens to participate in their government. You want to be able to discover conflicts of interest. You want to discover poor behavior. You can go to Google and you can see that we just had an election. And so we have a new governor of Alaska. And so the governor has been appointing people. And several of his nominees have been thrown out because of poor behavior. People went to social media and go, "What?" And so they had to pull out. Yeah, so it was during the public hearing that people would say, "Hey, that nominee put this on Facebook," and then they show it. And then everyone in the state of Alaska sees it. And I don't understand. Also, you want to have public hearings on appointments to discover past corruption. You see, one of the benefits of having public hearings on appointments is now you are enlisting the general population as being investigators. Yes, and let me tell you, the general public will find out if there's something wrong. That is a benefit of having public hearings for appointments. So I'm going to talk now about the appointments at the state level. So that would be the province or provincial or AMIG here. And so there's several different ways. You have, we call them commissioners. There's special departments, standard departments, and then there's appointments related to boards and commissions. And so you have a little bit of different process for each. Remember, what we're looking for is to find the best candidate. We're trying to find out good or bad behavior, corruption, and conflicts of interest. For a standard department, it would be like transportation, commerce. It begins, the governor nominates a person. Then legislative committees will review the nomination, both the House and the Senate, through a formal hearing process. So then the committees conduct an open public hearing, and what happens is the chair of the committee will formally open the hearing. The appointee will come to the table and make an opening comment. "Oh, this is why I'm qualified. This is why I'm the best person for the job. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, don't worry about my Facebook. That was when I was 10 years old." And then the committee members will ask questions of the nominee. Then the chair will look around the table and say, "Are there any more questions?" And if there are no more questions, then the chair will open up the testimony for everyone in the state of Alaska to comment. Because these are on TV. I'll show you, I have a video clip of it. And then people start talking. And if you cannot attend via teleconference or in person, then you're able to submit written testimony. And then a record of the public hearing, and with all of the testimony, both oral and written, is provided to everybody. Then the committee will make a recommendation to the full legislature. And then the full legislature comes together and up or down. Then there's special departments. In Alaska, a special department would be the Department of Fish and Game. Appointments to the Supreme Court would be special. And for special groups, what happens is the board of Fish and Game, or a board of attorneys will provide a list of candidates to the governor, 5 typically, and the governor can only select from that list. The process is used for special departments that have that the public has a very special interest in. And it's an attempt to, it's an attempt to pull some of the politics out of the nomination process. Once the governor selects from the list of candidates, then we go into the standard process. So I have a video clip of an appointment hearing that was recently held in the state of Alaska. It's only about 2 minutes, so I ask your patience, but watch how it happens. Watch what the chair does. Watch how the questions begin. Watch how the person presents. And then also note, this is being broadcast. So people who have an interest in this department, and this one is transportation, are watching. And they're taking notes. And they're going to testify. So this hearing, we only have about 2.5 minutes. This hearing lasted almost 2 hours. Yeah, so you see, you have the committee, the chair, and then this is where the nominee is going to sit. So the members of the public can watch the facial expressions and how the person responds. It's all in real time. And I know every one of these people.
I'm calling the Senate Transportation Committee to order. Today is Tuesday, January 29th, and let the record reflect that the time is 1:32 p.m. And today we have present Senator Wilson, Senator Machicki, Senator Keel, and myself, Chair Hughes. As you usually hear at the beginning of these committees, I would like to remind committee members and those in the audience to please silence your cell phones or turn them off. And I'd also like to welcome and thank our staff that are going to be assisting with the Transportation Committee this session. With Senate Records, we have Carrie Cooper-Ryder, and with the LIO back in the corner, we have Flannery Ballard. And today is the inaugural committee for my new committee aide, Amy Bushnell, first time being committee aide. So let's all be easy on her today. I know she's going to do a fantastic job. We have one item on today's agenda, and a very important one: the consideration of the governor's appointment to the Department of Transportation and Public Facilities, Mr. John McKenna. So he will present some opening remarks, and once we've concluded with questions, we'll open public testimony. And if there are too many folks online for that, we will ask you to submit written testimony if we run out of time. And just for today, as well as throughout the committee, the testimony, public written testimony email is senate.transportation@akleg.gov. So you might want to make a note of that. So I'd like to at this time invite Commissioner Designee McKinnon to the table, please. Either one. So welcome, Mr. McKinnon. Please place your name on the record and begin your opening remarks. And before you begin, I'd like to let the record reflect that Senator Shower has joined us.
Chair Hughes and members of the Senate Transportation, for the record, my name is John McKenna. I'm the Commissioner Designee for the Department of Transportation. I'd like to thank you for the opportunity to present here today, and also for the opportunity to serve the state of Alaska again. A little bit about myself. I was born here in Juneau in 1952. Gives you a little idea of what my age is.
Did you see how that worked? Very formal. Today is March, blah, blah, blah. The time is 1:32. If you want to send written testimony, send it to, here's the email address. We invite the nominee to the table, and the nominee provides the opening remarks. Then what happens, he finishes his opening remarks. Then the committee starts asking questions. Why did you do this? What about that? So what has occurred in the background is people who are opposed or in favor of the nominee have already sent questions to the committee members. So the dialogue has already begun with the public. Then he is finished with his remarks. The chair will say, "Thank you. We are now opening the testimony for the general public." And then they will go to community by community. Bethel, do you have anyone? Juneau. And they go throughout the entire state. Then a record of the hearing is made. And see, you can see the time, what it is, a confirmation hearing, who attended, and then a verbatim transcript. What was said during the entire 2 hours. So I can read it because this is made public, and then I can go, "Oh my God, that's not true." And then I can contact members of the legislature. "That's not true." Or, "Oh, it's even better than that." I can get that in before the vote. In the last couple months is when, during this process, you would get a senator going, "Well, Madam Nominee, can you explain this Facebook page?" And then they have to explain right there. Or they will say, "Well, 5 years ago, you were at a public hearing and you said this. That, I think, is a conflict of interest. Can you explain that?" Remember, what we're trying to do is find the best people. We're trying to eliminate corruption, and we're trying to eliminate conflicts of interest. So Alaska has 138 boards and commissions, all kinds of things. Hairdressing, dental, forestry, game, history. The members of the boards and commissions have to go through an appointment process because they're making decisions that affect the daily lives of the people. So if the board has an impact on people like dentistry or hairdressing, then you have to go through the same process as a commissioner. But some boards and commissions do not affect the daily lives of people, and then the governor can just appoint without a hearing process. So for a board and commission, you have to file an application, you have to have letters of recommendation, then the governor's office reviews it, you have to commit. I will commit to a 3-year term. The legislature then confirms through the process we've talked about, and you have to disclose your financial background. Now let's talk about it at the local government level. This is a process I went through when I became borough manager, the head of government. Yeah, so to become the head of government in my area, the competition is the entire United States. And then you submit an application, it's very competitive. So I'm an example of how things kind of slip through the cracks. So before the public hearing on the appointment, the full application package must be available for the public to look at and read 2 to 3 weeks before the hearing. So the application includes your formal application, your resume, your criminal and financial background check, because the government will do a separate background check to see if you have a criminal history, to see if you have a financial, they look at all your finances actually. Then they want a statement of bonding authority. And what that means is because in America, the local governments can issue bonds, hundreds of millions of bonds. They want to know if you are a criminal or not. And then letters of reference, and then also what organizations you're a member of. All this information is the application packet and must be available for the public 2 to 3 weeks before you have the hearing. Then the second step happens. The legislative body conducts a formal public hearing. Same as with the commissioners, the candidate makes an opening statement. I believe I will be the best borough manager ever, blah, blah, blah. Then the legislative body asks questions. Now remember, this is televised. Then once the legislative body is complete with their questions, and then the public hearing is closed and the legislative body makes a decision. So here's an example of one happening, and this was a appointment of a police chief.
Members of City Council's Executive Appointments Committee heard a steady stream of criticism.
At a minimum, I want stability. Mr. Fitzgerald seems to have a reputation for job hopping.
He's constantly fudging this resume. Oh, I started the biggest camera program in Texas, then you find out that's not true. If he's going to come and lie to the public like this before he even has the job, what do you think he's going to do when he is, safely ensconced in the commissioner's office?
In a statement released after the hearing, Councilman Zeke Cohen, a member of the committee, said, "I expect any nominee for this position to consistently engage with the public, present a vision for their leadership and the city, and be transparent about their background file and resume. Unfortunately, these qualities have not been reflected in Mr. Fitzgerald's candidacy." Members of the Campaign for Justice, Safety, and Jobs urged council to ensure the confirmation process is not completed until a full, transparent vetting process occurs.
So we're here today to ask the City Council and the Mayor to stop this process, go back to the beginning, have a full, open, and transparent process so we get the leader that we deserve in the City of Baltimore.
Council has until January 28th to make a decision. In Baltimore, Vanessa Herring, WBAL TV 11 News.
Public hearings are really very, very good for appointments because you find things out early. You do not appoint someone who becomes trouble later. So if I am part of the local government, I want to do this just to make sure that I pick the right person. That police chief did not get the job. The mayor was trying to do a political appointment and the public found out and they stopped it. So as you can see, I have your legislation regarding appointments. The hurdle, you well know, is right here. It requires 25% of your parliament to say, yes, we want a public hearing. That's a problem. So either you convince 25% to have the hearing, or go change that law. Those are your options. Remember, the best way of reducing corruption is transparency. And public hearings provide a lot of transparency.